This version of the full English breakfast features fried potatoes, hash browns, sausage patties, baked beans, tomatoes, eggs, toast, bacon, and Canadian bacon. Served with coffee, ice water, and HP sauce. Alright, so the first step you're going to want to do is get the oil preheating for your fried potatoes. We're using canola oil, but you want to use whatever you got around. Any oil is good for frying. Alright, once you got that oil preheating, the next step is to cut up some potatoes here. Make sure you've already got them washed up and everything. Alright, and you want to cut these pieces into medium and small pieces. You don't want them to be too big or too small. You want to make sure they cook all the way through. Alright, so once we've cut our potatoes, then now we're ready for the oil. Make sure to keep in mind that you cut enough potatoes up that there's enough for everybody, because everybody loves these. Alright, and it's a good idea before you dump all these potatoes in, to just put one in first and try it out a little bit and see how good the oil is. We're good. Alright, so right about now is a good time to preheat the oven for the hash browns. We're going to preheat to about 425, give or take. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. Alright, so now we're going to cook these hash browns. They're just going to be some of these frozen ones. But we're going to make sure we use a little bit of cooking spray, keep them from sticking to the pan. Alright, some of this stuff's probably better to make from scratch, but sometimes you just work with what you got. So we're just going to arrange these hash browns on here. Alright, and once your oven's preheated, you go ahead and put the hash browns in. And they should only take about 10 minutes to cook, give or take. Alright, so another crucial ingredient for the full English breakfast is of course what the British folks call the black pudding. And we weren't able to find what actual black pudding is around here. We're in Northeast Ohio right now. So we're going to substitute that item out just for some turkey sausage that we're going to cut into patties. And it's not exactly the same thing as black pudding, but this is still going to be a nice little substitute. This is the kind of meal that you basically just work with whatever ingredients you have around. You don't have to have everything all the time. Alright, so now we have our not so perfect slices of sausage going on here. And we got our potatoes cooking, we got the hash browns cooking, now we're going to get the sausage patties cooking. Alright, so we're going to spray down the pan a little bit first. It's going to keep the sausage from sticking. The last thing you want is get all this stuff stuck to the inside of your pan and have to clean it out. Yeah, this spray works great. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put in our sausage patties here. I like to start out with a high heat and then work our way down to a lower heat as they cook. I don't know if that's the right way of doing it or not, but we're going to find out. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and flip these sausages a little bit. Oh yeah, these are coming out awesome. Even the pan gives it a nice little design there. And it's a good idea to move these around too, because sometimes the pan doesn't always cook consistently all around, so you want to move it around there. Oh yeah, these are coming out awesome. So just a little update. So far we got our fried potatoes going, we got our sausage going, and we got our hash browns in the oven. They're looking real nice. Yeah. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get our baked beans cooking. If I was a much more advanced cook, I'd do some of this stuff from scratch, but we're just going to go with the canned baked beans for today. It's like an essential part of this breakfast. Alright, kind of got this down on low heat. That won't take too long to cook. You basically just got to warm these beans up. Alright, so it looks like so far we got the fried potatoes, the hash browns, the sausage patties, and the baked beans going. Let's see what else we can get going here. Alright, so the next item we're going to do is the tomato portion of this meal, which this is going to be just sliced stewed tomatoes out of the can. But if you know what you're doing when it comes to cooking, you know, make some of this stuff from scratch. If you got a couple fresh tomatoes around, get them cut up, but we're just going to use the can for today. We're basically just going to work with what we got here. And I've got to have the tomatoes, central part of this breakfast. Alright, so we're making awesome progress so far in this English breakfast. We got the fried potatoes going, the hash browns, the sausage slices, the tomatoes, and now we got to get going with the eggs, toast, and the Canadian bacon, and maybe even a little bit of American bacon. We'll see. Alright, and also make sure you don't forget to check on the hash browns. Probably give these things a flipping so they cook real good on both sides. Alright, just give each one a little flip. Back into the oven maybe for, I don't know, about maybe 5 more minutes. Oh yeah, got the tomatoes cooked up, nice and steamy hot. Alright, so now we're going to add some Canadian bacon on the other side of the pan from the sausage. These don't need quite as long to cook, so I'm going to throw these in there. Alright, so we're going to let that cook for a little bit. Alright, so these potatoes look to be just about done, so we're going to use a metal scooper to get them out with, because this oil is still really hot. So be extremely careful when you're dealing with oil. Everybody likes fried potatoes. It's definitely an essential part of this breakfast. There we go, some perfectly fried potatoes. This is going to be one of 2 potato products that'll be in this meal today. You know, if you ever want to impress your friends or your family, just get up an hour or 2 early, put together some sort of a breakfast like this. You know, you're bound to impress somebody. Yeah, they can be the hero of the day for sure. Hopefully Metallica doesn't sue over that. So at this point I'm just going to go ahead and mix the sausage and the Canadian bacon together here. Give them some nice, really good cooks going. Well, I'd say this stuff's just about done. Alright, so the next step here is we're going to have to do with some eggs. There's a lot of different ways you can make eggs. A lot of people have their different preferences. So I'm going to try to do a couple over easy type eggs. I've never actually really done them before, but we're going to see what happens here. Alright, we're going to give this egg a go. Alright. Try to give this a flip. Not the greatest in the world, but just like anything, always give it a go. Even if you're not that great at it, this can still be a good time. You can still have fun. And every time you practice something like this, you get better. Alright, so it looks like a lot of this sausage and Canadian bacon's ready. Just going to take it off the heat. We don't want to overcook this. Oh yeah. It's going to be so awesome. Check on this egg, see how this is working out. Not bad. It's always a good idea whenever you're making this kind of breakfast, make sure you ask your people what kind of eggs they like. You know, because some people want their eggs scrambled, some people want them you know, cooked like this, where they're kind of runny or whatever. And always a good thing to find out first. All right, while we get the eggs going, now it's a pretty good time to go ahead and get the toast going too. Make sure you do extra toast. People always love toast. We're gonna use a sourdough bread for our toast this time. It's one of my favorite kind of breads. All right, so now's a good time to go ahead and take the hash browns out. They're probably nice and cooked by now. Oh yeah, just like McDonald's hash browns. All right, the toast is done. I'm just gonna lightly butter each one of these just to keep them from getting too dry. Sometimes it helps too. Go ahead and cut each one in half. That way it makes more. And it fits on the plate way better. And it's also the kind of breakfast that make sure you plan on doing something after you're done eating. You don't really want to eat all this food and then just sit around lounging. You know, maybe go out for a nature walk. Maybe cut that load of firewood you've been meaning to cut for a while now. Or if you live in a town, walk downtown, take a look at the storefronts. So there's that. All right, looks like so far, we got the toast, we got the hash browns, we got the sausage patties and the Canadian bacon. We got the fried potatoes, we got the tomatoes, and we got some eggs there. And we do got some baked beans cooking back here that I just recently killed the heat on. Maybe we'll get a little bit of the American bacon going. See what happens. All right, so we do have a small portion of some regular bacon. That'll add to it for sure. All right, so we got our regular bacon cooked up now. This is the kind of bacon we're used to having here. It's real easy to find. Well, it looks like we got everything ready. Time to start plating. All right, so we got 3 of them plated up here. We're ready to go. And we originally came across the full English breakfast when we were traveling to England for the first time to play music. And we stopped at a restaurant, and then we had a friend actually make us like the full English breakfast over there. And we were so impressed by it that we continued to try to make it even when we returned home. And of course, you got to have the HP sauce with it. Everyone would always say that. They would admit that you need to have the HP sauce. And, you know, experiment with it. If you have any other ideas, you want us to do videos about any meals, you know, either get a hold of us or leave a comment down below. All right, enjoy.